These chickens belong to a billion-dollar corporation headquartered in Maryland, Purdue Chicken. But this Kentucky chicken house they are raised in belongs to Nancy Butler.
We open the doors and the semi-trucks are parked out here, and they pick up the chickens and put them in the crates and set them on the truck, and they take them off to the processing plant. So if you buy a Purdue chicken in the grocery store, this is where it starts.
There are 8 chicken houses up here on the hill. There are 8 right beside of me. There are 8 just on the other side of these. So that makes 24. My son, when he comes out here and plays basketball, where he'll stay out here, he'll play, you have to take him straight in there, put him in the tub because he smells like chicken manure. When it's really bad, you would want to be throwing up. The smell is that bad.
I don't understand a problem with poultry farming other than my neighbors are all farmers. They expect and accept smell, and if smell is the issue.
With the demise of tobacco, Kentucky's farmers are in trouble. One solution is confined animal farming. These operations can pollute the countryside, so Kentucky's environmental cabinet proposes regulations. In the new session of the Kentucky Legislature, Representative Roger Thomas submits a bill which would soften those cabinet regulations. Farm Bureau lobbyist Rebeckah Freeman helps him to fight to pass this bill. They fear the regulations will drive the corporate chicken industry from Kentucky.
We firmly believe and have been told point blank by the folks that do business in and outside of the state, and we will cease to do business in Kentucky. We will go elsewhere. Agriculture is the cash cow of this state. A lot of people don't know that, but it is, and we want it to continue to be.
Here's a copy of the bill that Roger Thomas filed yesterday. It's House Bill 940.
Suzanne Walters, a lobbyist for a nonprofit farmers group, tries to block this legislation, believing it favors large corporations. After the Farm Bill was introduced in the House, it was assigned to the Agriculture Committee for hearings. For weeks, Walters and members of her grassroots farmers group have been preparing for this Agriculture Committee meeting, their first big hurdle. They coach a witness who will speak in favor of regulations today.
It's good.
Got it down.
And so you just need to remember to say, you know, I'm Billy Holman, I'm with Community Farm Alliance, I'm from Allen County.
And I'm going to be brief, to the point, get our point across, and hope that I can put just a word that'll stick with the legislators.
Right. If the hearing starts at 12, by 11:30 we have to have testimony.
My primary objective is to get their attention that all of this is, the corporate farming is coming in. I mean, we've got that coming. There ain't no way around it. And I'm not knocking it that much. I'm just wanting them to be in perspective to where they don't come in and ruin my home and my neighbors' homes and our community and waste our tax dollars.
That's simple, clear. So this is an outline. What you just said isn't quite in here. And so you've got it in your mind. Maybe you better get over there and see if you can get clarity with Thomas on getting to testify today and setting it up so our folks go first and all that.
This job is not a job that you go to work from 9 to 5 on. This is a 24/7 job. My life's work now is lobbying here in Frankfort and trying to fight for the social change that I think everybody deserves.
The Farm Bill hearing gets underway. This will be Billy Holman's first appearance before a legislative committee.
We have a very full agenda today, and it's going to require the maximum amount of time that we're allotted.
Today the bill will be debated by those who want large corporate farms to be regulated versus those who want minimum regulation.
The legislation tried to allot 5 minutes. If you would identify yourself and proceed.
The Cabinet's regulations require that the chicken house be set back away from neighbors. They also require the corporation or integrator to share responsibility with the chicken grower in case of environmental disaster. The bill cuts back on the regulations. Here's one thing that worries them. In other states, rivers have flooded into factory farms sweeping the animal waste dumps into the river, producing environmental disasters. Sometimes the taxpayer had to pay for cleanup.
I do a little farming, work in public work, but this House bill that's coming up is kind of gets next to me because I want to see the integrator clause left in there. And the closest thing
Billy's remarks run long. Others are waiting to speak, so they plan another hearing to complete the testimony.
I told Tom to share. I would allow another 10 minutes of discussion on the opponent's side.
Okay.
Is that acceptable?
Yes. Okay, so you'll give us 10 minutes, Cinda.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
We
ma'am. I
appreciate
don't want to keep the committee members here half the night discussing this, and you know.
What these bills would support is not free enterprise. It is not justice to farmers. It is not prosperity in rural Kentucky. It is not stewardship of our land and water. It is not humane treatment of animals. It is not the best way to produce food. These corporations now ask to be relieved of any mandated public liability or responsibility for their activities here. By their request for special exemptions, they acknowledge the great risks and dangers that are in fact involved in their way of doing business.
Before we begin with questions, I would ask the sponsor of the bill if you want to respond.
Yes, I was particularly taken with the gentleman who said that it was like having an industrial park next door to you. Well, I wouldn't want an industrial park next door to me either. Let's just legislate that we have no more industrial parks. I go right back to this integrator liability. If you don't want chicken houses, let's have a vote on eliminating large chicken operations. Of course, you got $1 billion business there. Don't do something that will do major damage to this industry unless you want to get rid of the industry. If you want to get rid of the industry, come on out and say so and we'll discuss it. I'll shut up.
Monday at 2 in room 131, and we will proceed with some more discussion, but we will vote on the bill Monday.
If consumers start saying we're willing to pay what it costs to buy exclusively free-range chickens, exclusively free-range hogs or beef, then I guarantee the farmers will do everything possible to meet that demand. That's not what the people want. They want 99-cent Wendy's chicken sandwiches. And I'm not making a value judgment about whether that's the right or wrong decision on the part of the consumer.
Representative Turner, Representative Upchurch.
Yes.
Bill passes with favorable expression.
The bill has passed the Agriculture Committee and should now go to the floor of the House for a vote. The question is, will the leadership of the House, Jody Richards, and Greg Stumbo, permit the bill to be called to the House floor for a vote? So Freeman has two tasks: to get the House to call the bill to the floor for a vote, and if they call it, to get them to pass it. She works with her more experienced colleague from the Farm Bureau, Sam Crawford.
Okay, here's the list. Now, who are my definite no's other than the ones I have? Mark with an X. I'm not going to waste my time on it.
What about John Adams?
I don't know.
We'd put him in there as a yes. I tell you what I was thinking is that if we could get about 60 people that we want to make sure to see, and as we get no's, we'll try to think of somebody to take their place to go see. I mean, that was...
Sounds like a good plan.
Lobbyists wait to talk to legislators as they walk to the Capitol building.
How are you? Hi, Tom. How you doing? Good to see you all.
I mean, it'll be interesting now whether we'll get on the floor, and it'll be interesting whether we can win on the floor. We'll have.
But that's okay. I mean, that's at least on the merits.
We could just get it in the process on the floor and let it be considered. We'll obviously
Of course, from my standpoint, I've already got some ink and this and that.
Sure.
So from my standpoint, hey, who cares? But I do care because I think it's right. I don't want to get on the floor and lose, and I don't think we would. So I will speak to Greg again, and if I leave with the impression that it is dead, I'll be sure and get back to you immediately.
Great. We would appreciate
but
that.
I don't feel that way at this point.
Either.
We don't either.
Maybe the governor's chief of staff can help them get the bill to the floor of the House for a vote.
I don't know if this will help you at all, but we've been handing this out to folks. It's just a comparison of the two.
Tell me what Bickford does from this point on.
He recommends they set up a meeting with Jody Richards, Speaker of the House. They seek the help of Roger Thomas to do this.
Could you arrange a meeting, and if anybody can bring Jody, it looks like to me you could do it.
I'd be glad to do it. I don't know what his schedule's like, but I'll check with him and see if there's any way. And you want the three of us and Jody?
That's what we were just thinking, because we just...
What about Cherry? We need to include him.
That'd be fine.
The day ends, and Freeman still hasn't been able to arrange the meeting she wanted. She waits for legislators to return from the evening session at the Capitol. Representative Cherry breaks the news to her.
I'm not optimistic now.
Okay.
I was.
Okay.
I talked to Skipper, and I re-talked to Richards, the speaker, re-talked to Stumbo.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out the House leadership has sent the bill to another House committee for debate.
Indication of what changed them or what we can do to...
Once the bill did go into A&R into that committee, there was initially a big feeling of relief because I had the overall general feeling that this bill would die in that committee.
We've dealt with the issue of trying to balance the needs of agriculture to use modern production methods and the desire of other citizens to live in the countryside in relative peace. We've worked with the House Democrat leadership. They likewise supported our program to strike a balance, and the Farm Bureau was promoting a program that we felt was a little bit favorable towards the producer, the large producer of animals, and not particularly friendly or sensitive to the needs of the other citizens that lived in the immediate vicinity.
So if the House has sent the bill off to a dead end, the bill's sponsors will try the Senate. However, it's too late in the session to introduce a bill in the Senate. They'll have to attach their entire bill as an amendment to a bill that's already waiting for a vote in the Senate. In doing so, they skip over the committee debate altogether.
You know, we talked about having to do this. And I think to get it on there for a vote.
Let me think about tonight who'd be the best person to offer the amendment.
Okay.
I know this is depressing for you.
It's depressing for me, for you. Oh my God,
It was a good, solid bill for agriculture in Kentucky that respected the environment, but didn't respond to the emotionalism. And when it became clear that the leadership in the House were not going to post it for action, we felt it like the Senate needed to make a statement. So as in a number of areas, we found an agricultural bill, and we put that amendment on so that the Senate could make its statement that we strongly endorse protecting our farm interests and their ability to sell their products.
I think we got you motivated to do business today.
I think y'all have got me terrified is what you've got me. I'm operating on sheer edge of the cliff fear.
So, since her farm bill was blocked in the House, Rebeckah Freeman has now succeeded in attaching her bill 940 as an amendment to a Senate bill. Republican Senator Dan Kelly supports this, but they've told Freeman she has to secure votes from Democrats to push the bill through. For this, she goes to see Democrat Senator Pendleton.
Do you think if we could do something with CAFOs in the Senate, we could get 10 Democrats?
I don't think we'll have a problem. Get me exact language that you got now.
It's going to be a kinder, gentler version of what 940.
Because the best thing we can do is just lay low, be quiet, and then hit it on the floor, and then get it out of there, and it's over with.
And then, it might go to conference, but that's fine.
Has the House voted on it yet?
Governor killed it. So we're going to try to do something amendment-wise.
Is Senator Kelly going to put it on?
He said we were rolling with it. He said, you let me know you've got 10 Democrats, we're rolling.
Okay, all right. Get me a copy of the amendment.
As soon as I get one, I will.
And we'll...
I might have a copy of the bill on me right
now.
I can tell you basically what it does.
What the bill says.
And the cabinet has no clue we're doing this. Nobody has any clue we're doing this. We haven't even told our people we're doing this.
Dan's got, feels like he's got 10 over there.
Oh yeah, he says he feels good about it.
Then we'll, I'm sure I can bring 10 from my side.
Well, I was going to tell him. Okay.
Right.
I'll get this ready for you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Suzanne Walters and the Community Farm Alliance find out too late that they're doing this.
They took House Bill 665 and they attached a Senate amendment to it that would take away
the setbacks and take away the integrator liability, thus eventually leaving the farmer open to all environmental damage and opening the state up for poultry and hog industry.
In the caucus, Borders told us they set the vote for today.
That's you. You got to work this weekend?
Is that what you understand?
Yes, the vote is set. He said they discussed it in caucus, and it is set for today.
What Floor Amendment 1 does is clearly define the level of regulation that can exist without putting our swine, poultry, dairy, and beef cattle producers at an economic and market disadvantage.
We just found out this morning about the Floor Amendment and what we would like to do. But we'd like to see the vote put off till Monday so we could have a chance, you know, to talk to Senator
Who's carrying the bill?
One of the most controversial areas is how close will we allow these operations to boundaries or to other uses. And this regulation will make sure that we don't overregulate and put them out of business. If there's no further questions, I move for adoption of Floor Amendment 1.
Matter before the body is the adoption of Floor Amendment 1. All in favor vote aye. Aye. All opposed? No. The ayes have it. Floor Amendment 1 passes.
And then the bill itself passes. Walters studies the roll call list of how senators voted.
When I went to the Senate clerk and got the list of who voted and how, that would give me an idea who was for us and who was against us, who I needed to lobby the hardest with.
Her, Kara, I talked to him.
Shoot, this has been some interesting on-the-job training.
They can't. There's nothing they can teach you.
No. It's been great, though. There's something about it I love.
There are 5 days left in the session. The Farm Bill could now go back to the House floor for a vote. Walters, back at her office, works the phones trying to prevent
Of course,
this.
Pat, at this point, I'm lucky if I can say my own name.
There's the count on it with the amendment, and here's what it looked like. The biggest challenge right now is just getting it called.
But in here?
No, you're not letting in.
I ran
Have a seat.
I just ran into Dan Kelly downstairs. I said, we're going to try to get it called off the board. That's the next step. Is we've got to we need some help some kind of way, and I'm going to ask him to, I mean, he needs to talk to leadership too about something they need.
Yeah.
It's the best plan that I know, but
I don't know what, short of trading, I don't know what you do to get him to call it.
At least call it for a vote. That's all we're asking on both ends. I mean,
so what do they have that's important to Greg?
Well, I think if Dan Kelly just goes and said, are you going to call it or not, and here's something I'll do for you.
Yeah.
We just need to find that something for, or help Dan Kelly find that something. He may know of something.
Sam, I don't know. I don't know.
How big is early childhood development for him? Yeah, our drought is much improved.
Much improved where it was. Right. Quite frankly, I'm a little disappointed, I'll be honest with you, because I don't think that was the right way to do it. And
well, I understand, or we understand. And
you all came and told me, and I appreciate that. And
there'll be other things down the road.
Well, I hope so. I after really analyzing and thinking about it, I just kind of felt like that whoever bill that got put on, you're gonna kill that bill.
I mean, they killed our bill by just sending it off into space twice.
Yeah, part of the process.
Part of the process.
Yeah, which again isn't a fun thing to have happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
so what
just
I
not
would
fun all the way around.